Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts, the Smart Cities podcast is the only podcast dedicated to all things smart cities. The podcast is the creation of ARC Advisory Group's Smart City practice. ARC advises leading companies, municipalities, and governments on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business and quality of life in their cities. To engage further, please like and share our podcast or reach out directly on Twitter at Smart City Viewpoints or on our website at www.arcweb.com/industries/smart-cities.
Welcome to another episode of the ARC Advisory Group Smart Cities podcast. I'm Eddie Fiddler. I'm a transport analyst here at ARC, and I'm being joined today by Doron Frenkel. He's the CEO of Driivz. Hey, Doron.
Hello. Hi, Eddie.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I'm really excited for our conversation. I thought we could start by just having you introduce yourself and Driivz for our listeners.
Sure, I'll be happy to. So, as said, my name is Doron Frenkel. I've a bit about my background. Started all my career was actually in the high-tech business. Worked a lot in the telco industry. Amongst others, I used to manage the billing operation for T-Mobile in Seattle. So I've seen the revolution in the telco industry. And I also worked for over 5 years on the fleet industry. So it actually gets me to kind of perspectives. One is about a revolution in the telcos. Second thing is the mobility and fleets. And I'm coming from engineering background. So as an electrical engineer, I have some knowledge about the energy business as well.
Okay, great. So can you talk about starting Driivz and what inspired you to start Driivz and what you guys do?
Sure. So about 8 years ago, I've looked at the EV industry. And initially, it was a question mark. It was the initial phase. And then I figured out that EV is either huge or nothing. You need so many things to happen. And if it's huge, it's a potential for another revolution. And I like revolutions because it's the opportunity to make some impact and change. We looked at the mobility revolution. Soon we figured out that it's not only the mobility revolution, but we are in the middle of another revolution, which is the energy revolution. So if we look at the behavior of humankind, and if you look at mobility, a century ago, it was about horses. And we used to feed them at home, at work, public, semi-public. Then we moved to cars and gas stations. And now with EVs, we are back to feed the cars home, multi-dwelling, public, semi-public, and also the amount of energy is growing dramatically. So now what we found out throughout this journey that it's not only about just plugging the car. It's about energy management. It's about digital services. It's about making a solution which will be easy to use. So the sophistication needs to be inside, but we need to solve a lot of problems, which are technical problems, to make it easier for both the drivers, the host, the different players, and our customers, which are the operators that are operating all this kind of a mess.
Okay, so tell us more about what your offerings are.
So what we have developed is a software platform which serves as the operating system to large providers, large corporates, where they can manage their EV charging business in a world of disruption and change. So we have a variety of solutions and modules. It's an end-to-end platform, but it's modular. So our customers can pick and choose their parts. We have solutions around operational management. And what we found out is that the charging network is not as stable as you want it to be. There are lots of issues. So we've developed additional tools to make sure that the chargers are working properly. So we have developed self-healing tools that can solve issues remotely. In over 80% of the cases that can be solved remotely, we are doing it automatically. If you look at billing, we've developed billing so that our customers can monetize their assets and they can control it in a really easy way. We have energy management models. So we are managing energy in the vehicle level, in the parking lot level, in the campus level, up to virtual power plants, connection and demand response. So it's a lot of layers of integration. So if we look at the other aspects of it, we've developed self-healing or self-service tools for the drivers so they can easily manage their business and reduce the calls to the call center, and also self-service tools to the different stakeholders like gas station owners, hosts, dealerships. So it's about automation. It's about making it a lot easier. It's about monetizing, making more money. And the solution is customizable. So our customers can easily customize it to their needs. They can develop new innovation or new innovative solutions in a way that they can keep their competitive edge based on our platform with additional developments, which can be inside the platform or outside the platform. So it's kind of a very robust solution, and we are actually supporting customers in over 18 countries now. We have tens of thousands of chargers on the platforms directly, and additional hundreds of thousands in roaming. We have around 700,000 drivers that are using our solution. And on top of that, we support large variety of chargers, over 130 different types of chargers. So the system is robust, it's scalable, it's easy to use to our customers, it's easy customizable, and it provides a whole set of services from the operational perspective, the billing, the driver side, but also energy management.
Okay, so can you maybe give us a little more detail about who your customers are and maybe talk about some of your deployments?
Yeah, sure. So our customers are large corporates, and our customers are coming from the utility industry, from the gas and oil industry, or standalone EV service providers. What we are doing, we are providing our customers the variety of solutions that they need to their business. So, for example, if we look at customers like Elad is a consortium of the DSOs in the Netherlands. In 2014, they've selected us as their platform, and we've migrated the previous platform that they had. They've started in 2009. We've migrated that to our platform and did the largest migration in EV charging in the EV charging industry. And that's one example. Another example is ESB eCars. ESB is the incumbent utility of Ireland. They selected us in 2015, and we've migrated the previous solution that they have. So we are actually managing their charges in to the Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, and also in the UK. We provide them an end-to-end solution, which includes the charging operators, what we call CPO, but also the driver side and the billing, as opposed to Elad, which is mostly the charge point operators, the charger side. Another example of a large customer is EVgo. EVgo is the largest fast charging network in the US. And about 3 years ago, we've migrated their homegrown solution to our platform, replacing about 14 different systems into consolidating it into one platform. So EVgo started in 2008, and as said, we've migrated the platform around 3 years ago. So we are providing end-to-end solution, including the charger operations, the host billing, driver side, etc. So if we look at our customers, they are big operators. In some cases, we have large gas and oil companies that are providing solutions both for gas stations, but also to support fleets. And they're expanding their businesses to additional venues beyond the gas stations themselves. And we are doing that, as said, in a variety of countries. We are focused mainly in Europe and the US, but we also have customers in APAC and South America.
Okay, so you mentioned fleets, and I wanted to touch on that for a bit as well. So you don't have EV fleets directly as customers. You serve the organizations that serve them, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so with all of these deployments around the world, can you maybe share what you've learned and what you've come across? Because the whole space is still relatively new, so it's still very interesting.
Yes, we found out actually a lot of different things. First of all, we've seen that there are so many different types of chargers, and that normally companies start with one, but then they tend to have more and more tenders, and then they find themselves with a large variety of different chargers. So working with protocols, open protocols, is something that is really beneficial for our customers. We are part of the OCA, Open Charge Alliance group, and the protocols, or what we call the OCPP, Open Charge Alliance, Open Charge Point Protocol, is the most common protocol that we've seen in the market. It started in Europe, but it's now used in other places, certainly in the US. And we support the different flavors of the OCPP. What it gets you, what it brings you, is the ability to choose chargers, replace them, and even replace the back office if you don't like it, because all the connection is around standard non-proprietary solution. We do support also proprietary chargers, so there are protocols for chargers, but we believe that the OCPP is the best solution if you look at this side, to enable the customers to expand their network and to have more control. So this is one issue. Another issue that I mentioned is that the stability of the chargers with the connection to the vehicles, you have a lot of issues, and the drivers can come up to the station. The stations is malfunction, or they have issues, and it's really bothering. So how can you get into energy management and billing if the chargers are not operating? So we've started to develop tools to fix that automatically, remotely, which we think it's important. Another thing is, even if you start small, and we have customers that started small, think about scalability, because it's all about scalable market. And if you think about scalability, you need a platform that will hold that. So we are managing now a lot of chargers, and you see how important it is. And in some cases, it's make or break for profitability in the future. Another thing that we found out is there is consolidation in the market. So we see that some customers of ours may buy other smaller companies, and then they want a platform that will enable them to connect to other platforms and enable operation of networks that wasn't their chargers in the beginning. So the ability to connect other networks, other protocols, even other countries within one platform is important. The ability to support the most advanced protocols in the market is also critical. So protocols like ISO 15118, which is a protocol to authenticate the car. Instead of passing using the app or RFID for authentication or credit card, the car authenticates itself, but also provide additional information about the state of charge and additional things. And that's, we believe, part of the future of the industry, so that the car is the e-wallet. And we support ISO 15118 from end to end. We support innovations like vehicle-to-grid solutions, smart energy solution. And if we talk about roaming, in Europe, we have different roaming providers like Hubject, Driivz, Inkling.net. We support them all, but we also support a protocol called OCPI. And the OCPI protocol assists companies to connect roaming directly without another platform in the middle. Roaming means that a driver can sign up to one network, but charge on another network. He charges his card on another network. So we've done an integration between EVgo and ChargePoint over OCPI based on our platform. Our customer is EVgo, and EVgo wanted to integrate with or to perform roaming agreement with ChargePoint, and we've done that at the end of 2019, on December 2019. So again, scalability, because suddenly both companies adds up a lot of charges and transactions to their network. Without scalability, it's really hard to manage it all. And what we are learning from this experience is that customers needs robust solution and think about the future in a growing market like that. Flexibility from billing perspective, energy management solutions, combining energy management and billing so that you can monetize it is really critical.
So on the one hand, a mix of, once you get into the nuts and bolts of EV charging and networks, you have a lot of these sort of rough edges to patch over that you might not think about ahead of time. And then on the other hand, it's being future ready and future proof for when the industry moves forward and being at the forefront of that. So there's a lot to consider. So you mentioned something there about self-healing algorithms for charging. So could you maybe just expand on that? Tell us more about what kind of issues come about for chargers and how your system addresses those.
Yeah, so it started by us looking at the different chargers and understanding the issues, first of all, to show that to the operators and to expose that to the operators, because normally you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So we've started by monitoring the issues and presenting them. Then we went into providing alerts to the operators on specific issues. The next step was saying, hey, if we can look at it and alert about it and even recommend about what to do, why not doing it? So it started by just sending restarts to the chargers if something was wrong. And then we started to add more and more commands. And we found out that there are lots of issues that we can solve remotely. If the RFID card reader is not working, if some of the issues within the chargers themselves, and it's different between the chargers. So we tend to work, learn, and improve all the time. And the fact that we have a lot of chargers on our network and a lot of transactions enables us to learn more, improve that more, and create the algorithms to make sure that we monitor the issues, we alert about them, but also solve the issues. We have internally a ticketing system. We can also connect to external ticketing system. But the proactive alert system knows how to solve issues, and if it doesn't succeed to solve the issue, it opens automatically a ticket. So it's an entire mechanism to enable deep dive, and that's for the professional operators. And now we're using it because it gets the chargers, the charging network is more stable. Then what we have is actually a virtual operator that solves the issues automatically for the different players. It means that you have less interruption, the TCO is better, the customer satisfaction of both the hosts, the companies, the fleets, and the drivers is a lot higher.
Wow. Okay. Very interesting. Sounds extremely valuable.
Yes, it's another thing is you can learn from the different implementations in the different countries. So what we've done is we've consolidated the different views and different business models. But now we enable customers like in Japan to use technologies that were developed to Europe and in the US, but then get to faster time to market. So they can implement new stuff, new ideas within their platform. So the ability to look in a global solution, yet to provide a solution in a local country, a local region, with the experience that we have gained and the product that supports that, we see that as a big advantage.
Okay. That's sort of par for the course for such a dynamic and an interesting space. So I guess that leads into the next question of what are your views on the broader EV space, and what do you see as the roadblocks to mass EV adoption and what needs to be overcome?
So the number one roadblock is the availability of the EVs. People want to have cars which has the right range, which is at least 400 kilometers or 250 miles. They want to make sure that the solution that they have is cost effective, so the price equals to a normal car or the range, and they want infrastructure. Only if you have those three things, meaning, again, the range anxiety issue, enough mileage per charge, cost, and charging infrastructure. Those are the main keys for people to charge. Then you get additional things like ability to have different networks and roaming between the networks and additional thing. But number one thing is first of all, have the cars, the infrastructure. And we see that there is a lot of progress with the availability of the different cars and models in the market. We still don't know how the COVID-19 is going to affect the situation. But beyond that, I think that the notion of how important the health of the people around this planet is still going to be a major factor as we see that.
Yeah, and that's definitely an open question right now in the community. around COVID. Maybe we can talk about how the EV revolution affects the grid. That could be interesting. So you mentioned you're compatible with vehicle to grid and where that might go in the future. Can you maybe speak to that a little bit, how EVs could be used as an asset for the grid and things like that?
Sure. So before we start about the EVs as an asset, the question is, if God forbid and the EV industry ramps up as we expect it to ramp up, how can the grid support the EVs and the EV growth? You're not going to change the entire grid in order to support that. So the number one challenge that we have is to assist in providing solutions to better prioritize, balance, and enable the current grid to support the EVs. So, for example, if you look at a workplace environment and you have different cars, if you'll try to put all of them to charge at the same time, you probably need to upgrade the transformers, which cost a lot of money. So we have developed different solutions to balance that and enable better usage, knowing the profiles of the drivers and the energy profiles of the site and the car in order to balance that. So that's the first thing, is how do you use the current infrastructure and support the car. And then you need to add up some additional power like batteries. So getting into the battery technology, adding the batteries, managing the batteries, and adding renewables, both in the local sites and in other sites to support the need, is also critical. So we have developed tools to add batteries and renewables to the game. And after that, it's about not only supporting the grid, but how can you assist the grid? And you mentioned vehicle to grid. So vehicle to grid is the ability of the car to charge back the grid when needed. And we support that for over 3 years now. The major challenge is the batteries and the ability to charge, discharge, and if it's commercially available, that we think will be solved in the future. But it's also about the drivers themselves, and are you willing to spare some of the energy now or not? So we've started to work on aggregation and the ability to define when can I commit on reducing the power on a specific region. How can I commit? How do I know what the car needs? How can I predict it? So it's about prediction and then controlling it, because if you can't commit of reducing the power, then you can't monetize it. So that's the part of vehicle to grid. But if you look at the ability to support demand response, and certainly in times that you don't know if you'll have enough wind or overwind, so it's renewables, it's hard to predict, then you need to have some measures of either to have daily focus or inner-day focus, and sometimes even immediate actions. So we've started to work on different solutions, even on the protocols, on the future protocols, on how to connect EV charging to the grid. Some of it we are doing under European projects of mass-scale deployment of EV charging in connection to the grid. And we have different, let's say, solutions. This is not yet standard protocols. That's solutions that we have with different companies in the market, as opposed to the solutions that we have on the site level and campus level that are based on standard protocols. So it starts with the vehicles, it gets into the parking lot, then the campus, then the city, and then the connection to the entire value chain, the power network value chain. And we found ourselves supporting all the value chain from the cars up to the DSO.
Well, that's great, because that's one of the big open questions with all of this. And it's a major point of detraction among critics as well, and for good reason. So it's a great topic to address. And, another debate that's been roiling recently is certain oil and gas companies have been investing in renewables as well as e-mobility for a few years now, and that's been ramping up. And so one side of the debate says, oh, it's mostly greenwashing and this isn't such a big deal. Another says, no, we should really embrace these folks and sort of move forward together. So what are your views on this? What are Driivz views on this.
It's an interesting topic. As we have grown our customer base around gas and oil companies, and more than that, we were lucky to finalize an investment round just a week before the coronavirus outbreak, led by two companies. One is Gilbarco, which is a leading provider of solutions to gas and oil companies, and Centrica. So first of all, that's a great thing for us, getting into this crisis, the coronavirus outbreak crisis, stronger than ever. And what we see is that there is a major interest on the gas and oil companies to see how they can play within this area of EV charging. It's clear that it gets there. Some of them thinks it will be faster. Some of them thinks that it will be slower. But it's obvious that they are getting into it, and they are looking both on the gas stations, but also support to fleets and beyond. So we are currently doing several implementations for gas and oil companies, both in Europe and South America. And I see a lot of excitement around those companies to get and figure out how the EV industry can expand their business. And from what I've seen, they are really serious about that.
Okay, I see. And it makes a lot of sense, because if they're looking ahead, they of course understand that this is world changing for their industry. So you may as well get ahead of it and be a part of it.
Yes, I think that they figure that out. Some of them are doing it faster, some of them are doing it slower. The thing is to understand this marketplace, and this environment takes time. So the ones that are going to get into it, understand that, and play as a leading role, are probably going to get a bigger portion of the business.
Yes, for sure. So I thought maybe we could close by summarizing a little bit and talking about what comes next for Driivz. What are you trying to achieve overall, and what are you excited about?
Oh yeah, that's I like the question. Thank you for that. One thing is we want to make sure that our architecture support our customers best, meaning that they will have a scalable platform, but also the ability to develop their own solution and expand. And we're working on different ways for our customers to create their own innovation based on the platform beyond what we provide. We plan to keep on leading and developing the most innovative solutions around energy management, but also the most advanced protocols in the market. In parallel to all of that, we think that the stability of the network, not only the scalability, but also the stability, is a key. So our self-healing algorithms are going to keep on being developed. And beyond all of that, we are expanding our solutions to the ecosystem. So it's solutions to fleet dealerships, OEMs, and gas station owners. Those solutions are brandable, so our customers can customize it and sell it to their customers. So we're not working directly with each fleet. We are providing our customers the ability to do that, as I think you've mentioned in the beginning. So it's about better interfacing, easier way for the drivers. So usability both for the drivers, for the host and the operators, self-healing, energy management, scalability, and the architecture. And on top of all of that is stability. So our number one feature is stability. Make sure that the customers are happy with the solution they get, and they are going to the chargers. It charges properly, not a lot of issues, easy to use. And I think that all of us need to remember that beyond all the things that we are talking about, the drivers are going to generate more money for everyone. So we need more cars, we need more drivers. Then we can provide additional services around energy management and billing, and the other services or other digital services that we are now developing. So it's the main thing is to make sure that we can provide scalable and even innovative solutions to large corporates And especially when they have the dilemma of buy versus build, we are providing them all the tools for them to have the advantages of buying a system and overcome all the disadvantages of that by developing tools for them to keep on their innovation.
Okay, very interesting. I think with that, I just want to thank you, Doron, for joining the podcast and sharing the Driivz story and your insight today. And hopefully you'll come back and update us on your progress.
Thank you so much. We highly appreciate that.
Thank you, Doron. Take
Keep
care.
safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Broadcasting from Boston, Massachusetts, the Smart Cities podcast is the only podcast dedicated to all things smart cities. The podcast is the creation of ARC Advisory Group's Smart City practice. ARC advises leading companies, municipalities, and governments on technology trends and market dynamics that affect their business and quality of life in their cities. To engage further, please like and share our podcast or reach out directly on Twitter at Smart City Viewpoints or on our website at www.arcweb.com/industries/smart-cities.